I feel as though both my preliminary task and final edit are true representations of my skill at the time of their creation. My preliminary task being filmed on my phone, without the use of the tripod, highlights the first issue of shot composition. Overall, I had little awareness on the background of my shots, the stability of the filming, or the focus of each shot. This has improved dramatically within my final edit, as the use of the higher quality camera and tripod allowed for my attention to the detail and focus of each shot to be more extensive. From this, I have learned that filmmaking is really limited to the equipment available for use. As with the simple addition of a tripod, a wider of shot types and compositions were suddenly available for me to test and utilise. Therefore, stylistically, my final edit is more my preference. I like the colours and location of the sequence far greater than of my preliminary task, which was conveniently filmed in my garage. I also paid more attention to the character and how they were portrayed through their costume. My preliminary task was filmed with just the actors' average clothing, which they were wearing at the time, again for convenience. In my final edit, however, I dressed the girl in average attire with a slightly edgy vibe due to the alternative band t-shirt and baggier jeans combination. From this, I learnt that costume of the character can aid greatly in the portrayal of them and can help the audience to build their own backstory for the figure, thus allowing a stronger connection and audience engagement. Both of my productions use close-ups for character introduction and to portray each character's emotions. In my preliminary task, these shots were very artificial and structured, and although they do fulfil their purpose, they lack style and interest, which I feel as though the close-ups in my final edit have. The side angle with the added effect and sun blur in the camera all adds to the initial close-up and portrays the character's confused and dazed feelings as well as just the facial expression. This use of a combination of aspects to portray characters' emotions or themes is another thing I have learnt from the progression between my two productions. The art of showing the audience rather than telling them is a concept which I think is particularly effective and important after comparing my sequences. The focus of the preliminary task was to utilise the continuity techniques we had tested in our initial research. This was one of the few things which I thought worked well in my preliminary task, especially the match-on-action sequence of the feet walking through the doorway. Therefore, I mimicked this effect in my final edit as the character enters the therapist's house. I like the effect that this has, as the focus on the feet retains some suspense on the details of the location and where the character may be going. Details such as these were created within my pre-production process, which over the time I have realised is a key stage. My initial storyboarding for my preliminary task was basic compared to that of my opening sequence. I also took more consideration on my final edit storyline and made changes to the sections I wasn't happy with throughout, rather than simply settling with the easiest idea as with my preliminary task. My attention to the detail of the audio in the final edit was significantly greater. My preliminary task begins with the ambient wind sounds dominating the audio and distracting from the music, whereas my final edit begins with the music and diegetic bird sounds layered with each other. The bird sounds are carried throughout the sequence, later being replaced with the ambient sounds that I captured while recording. This constant sound level layered with the music allows for better continuity that I didn't manage in my preliminary task. From this, I've learnt the importance of audio that matches the screenplay and how it can affect the quality of production, and you can see this learning curve from my preliminary to my first edit and to my final edit.